2x equals 6. What would you do to both sides to solve for x? Divide by 2. And why would you do that?
Because you want to get x on the side by itself.
You want to get x on one side by itself, and you're just doing the inverse operation of multiplication, which is what? Division. So if we take this same problem for number 1, and we're trying to figure out how long it takes to get t. So we'll just plug this into this formula right here. So our future value was what, 40,000?
Yeah.
And our present value was 20,000. So somebody in their calculator, real quick, tell me what 0.078 divided by 2 plus 1 is. Somebody on the calculator? Q.
Yes.
0.078 divided by 2 plus 1.
Okay. 0.0 what?
0.078 divided by 2 plus 1.
1.039.
Say 1.039.
Yeah.
So, Monique, to answer your question, why are we using the log, and what does that mean? Well, in order to solve this, we have an unknown to exponent, right?
It's like 0.75.
It's 8. So we have an unknown in the exponent, right? And again, the standard is trying to get or recognize that log functions are the opposite of the inverse of exponential functions. So if we cover up this half, we cover our 40,000, 20,000 looks like 20,000 times 1.039 raised to the 2t. It looks like an exponential function, right? And because it's an exponential function, we have to do the opposite of the exponent, which is a logarithm, to solve for our t. So last we got, this is the long way that we did it. So we had to take the log. Well, first we had to divide by 20,000 on both sides. I got your question in a minute.
2.
And you get 2 equals 1.039.
So we divided both sides by 20.
And if you look back to the equation I gave you this week, that's all you're doing is log of the future value, which is 40,000, divided by the present value, which is 20,000, which is all we just did over there.
Is that a 12, Mr. Brown?
That's a 2. So here's where the logarithm comes in. In order to solve, because, again, keep in mind you told me that the inverse of multiplication was division, right?
Yeah.
And you just told me to solve for x, you divide by 2 on both sides. Because that's what you do, right? Here's the same concept. Because I have an exponent as an unknown, I can use the logarithm to figure this out. So I'll take the log of both sides. You following me? So because in this example, because we divide by 2 on this side, we divide by 2 on the other side, right? To balance the equation out. Same concept. Because we took the log of this, we take the log of our on the other side of the equation as well. And then the last step, you're trying to solve for t, in which way it's kind of confusing because we'll get into it next unit. But whenever we have an exponent in a logarithm equation, this exponent moves to the front of your log. So you'll get log of 2 equals 2t of 1.03. And then once we get to this step, it should become pretty simple to get t on one side by itself because
Multiply everything. Divide
by everything but the t. Because now, this looks familiar, right? This looks kind of similar to 2x equals 6. We have log 2 equals 2t of log, it's supposed to be log right here, I'm sorry. 2t of log 1.039, right? And if I want to get t on one side by itself, I would divide by 2 and then the log of 1.039. Follow me? So Monique, when you finish this one, you divide log 2 of 2. You divide by that on both sides and you get t on one side by itself. So that's why, this is the long way of doing it, and this is why we use logarithms to solve for a t and an unknown for the exponent. So if you come over here, it's pretty much the same steps, just in a shortened value. It's less keystrokes in your calculator, which means lower risk of making a mistake when you're putting in your calculator. So we have log of our future value divided by our present value, which is just 40,000 divided by 20,000. Divided by log, and you already told me this was 1.039. Q. So who has a calculator?
I got a calculator.
Put log of 40,000 divided by 20,000.
Hold on, never mind, because my phone don't say nothing about law.
You have iPhone or what?
No, it's a team
I
measure.
have a Galaxy S2, I'm team
Swipe
Sprint.
Oh.
Stupid.
I can't swipe over. No.
You got some calculator out there.
When you put this in your calculator, you'll get 18.11. And then you'll still have to divide by 2 in order to get it into time.
You got that 2 from the top.
Huh?
You got that 2 from
Yeah,
the
because
top.
over here, we had the 2 out in front of our log. This equation, we didn't involve 2 until the very end.
So why the 2 on the bottom?
We just took our final answer from this and divided by 2. And that gave us our time. So whether you do it that way or this way, you get the same space. Same thing. Ego. It's the same thing. T is in the problem.
Hey, Mr. Scott.
So we can do this either way we want to do it.
Either way you want to do it. I would recommend doing it this way because it's the quickest way. So what I want you to do now,
So what's the
What
answer?
does it mean?
9 years.
How do you get the
I feel
1800?
like-
Excuse me?
No.
How do you get the 1800?
When you plug in log of 40,000 divided by 20,000, divided by log of 1.09, you'll get 18. And then divide by 2 for the final answer. Are there any other questions before we begin the classwork?
So over here, I got a question. So over here, so that 2 and all the extra stuff.
Please be in the auditorium. Nakia Tennis, Shakira Bell, Juanita Hughes, Shamika Ween, Shakivia Robinson, Juanisha Perkins, Taylor Morgan, Kelsey McDaniel, Jada Marshall, Avante Lowe, Jessica Higgins, Nicole Hatcher, Kenyatta Hardy, Brianna Green, Alexandria Foster,
Over here.
Martika Burke,
So that 2 and
Malik
all the
Brown,
extra stuff.
Cynthia Banks,
So like equals 18
Kalicia Battle,
Well, over here, you
Brianna
get
Corson,
9 point.
Dolly Carter,
But over there, you still have to
and
divide by 2.
Rodriguez Williams. Please report to the auditorium. Thank you.
You know you heard it, because Monique.
You said Quinico.
Yeah, we got 2 tonight.
Quinico. One.
Between this way, this way. Are there any other questions before we begin the classwork?
Can I get my headphone back?
Check them out.
Yeah.
For the next,
It's in 12 o'clock,
for the next
30 minutes.
20 minutes, work with a partner, preferably one if you have a calculator. You don't, make sure you work with a partner who has a calculator. You will do problems 2 through 6.